Now. Okay, now it should work. Yes, I think now it should work. Test, test, test. I hope you can hear me. Okay, so. It's time. I love the message of Mike that he saw me run past in the hallway just to get to the recording room in time. I was stuck in like over 1.5 hour long meeting. It went way over time, but very exciting. Awesome. Okay, so if there's any problem with the audio, you can just let me know. As always, you can also just tag me directly in the comments so I can see questions more easily. How are you? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing good. Like it's a pretty exciting week. Lots of things happening. And also I'm always really excited to get back to the stream actually. I had this sitting on the computer for now a week and I wanted to get back to it. Okay, perfect. So, I mean, this is the point where I left off last time, where in the first stream I kind of focused on like explaining the general context of the character and then going straight into the facial retopology as like a main thing to look at, to examine. Okay, how do I even approach topology, or what do I even look for film production? What is important? I already made like a couple more annotations. Just because I wanted to fix some stuff, especially with the cheek and the temple. There's like some aspects that need to be changed a bit. And I wanted to maybe clean it up a little bit more, just right before heading into the rest of the head. Because today I want to focus on like wrapping up the head topology in general, and then going further into the hair, which I hope shouldn't take that long. So I hope that gives you a bit of an outline of like what we're going to do today. I'm now going to turn on the music. So I just need to find it. There we go. And yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So you can see there's some like little white lines here, and those are essentially just some general notes I had that I made at the end of the last live stream, because I was noticing, for one thing, like it's getting really dense right now here. And like you can see, if like all of these loops are going down here, like all of them, and oh, undo is actually not working. No, undo is not working. Not for annotation layers at least. And then like there's also like a lot of loops going into the ear. This is going to get too much. Like this is going to be a bit insane. So what I wanted to do is, there's already one loop that's like kind of framing the facial area, and that's a good thing. This is actually this can save us a bit of like resolution. But I want to do this to these loops as well. So maybe even this one. So the overall amount of loops going into the neck and into the ears is going to be lower. I also already see some first question. Will the hair be animated? Yes. That is the ideal result, that at least like the little bun over here at the back should be riggable and you should be able to animate it. And will I work on the body? Yes. Eventually I will get to the body, but that's a bit of a high goal for today. I don't think I'm going to get that far. But, so I want to merge some of these loops a bit more. So one easy way of doing that is just to kind of slide some of these further in. And now, like, you can see this loop is now also going along the jaw. And there's two less loops going like outside of the face. And I would ideally like to do this one more time, maybe? Let's check. Oh. So I'm just gonna slide this in. Okay, this is already like solving this a lot, but another thing I really wanted to like to do is, like, if we look at these poles, they are kind of like not really aligned, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can sometimes lead into like loops doing this, like where they just kind of like go in one direction, going into another, and then they cross themselves. And just as a way of like keeping this a bit tidy, I would like to like keep it a bit more clean. Sometimes that can be at the cost of adding a couple more loops, but for this character maybe that's not too much of a bad thing. A question, will snow also be free? Yes. I actually looked it up again, and I need to correct myself. The character Rain, who's the like Snow is like meant as the second character to Rain. She's completely free, open source. You can just download her on the Blender cloud. She's completely rigged, and you can just keep her forever, which is amazing. And we're gonna do the same thing for Snow, very likely. But there are, of course, like some files that are not free, like the working files and some more of the in-depth tutorial stuff that I've made. But if you get a Blender Cloud subscription, all of that should be available. It's so that should be fine. So one thing I would like to do is I would like to have this pole down here. So how do I do that? Well, I would need to actually have 3 connected edges on this guy. That's the goal. So I want to have a little, it's called an N pole. So because it has like, I think it's because it has a certain amount of lines, like it's 3 lines, so 3 connected edges. That's like the logic that I remembered. So this is like an N pole because it basically has 3. And this is an E pole because it is 5. Although I'm kind of starting to question that a bit. I mean, yeah, sure, if you treat like these lines as 2 separate entities, and then we got like this one and this one and this one, then yeah, you got 5. So this is an E pole. And these are the main ones that we're going to use. You don't want to get to a pole that has 6 connected edges or more, because it's just going to cause so much stretching in the like once you subdivide the geometry. And it's too ugly. Like this is going to cause problems during texturing and animation. It's just too visible. Are you camera shy? No. I mean, maybe a little bit of healthy shyness, but I kind of grew over it, I think. Using Rain for an animation now, the rig is advanced, yes. So the idea was to also use it as a base to figure out more like basic rigs we want to use during production. So we're also using the same rig pretty much, and the same rigger for the Sprite Fright film production. So what I'm going to do here is I want to merge these two. And now, even though this looks kind of ugly, this is the one I want. I want the 3 pole over here, the 5 pole over here, and then these two are at least a bit more aligned, which of course means I need to get, I need to make some small changes. Maybe even remove a loop. Which might not actually be that bad. Why is the 3D cursor there? Well, I'm going to keep this open for now, and I'm going to slide also this loop upwards. This entire loop. I'm just going to grab it. Oh, why is this set on tweak? So I want to just like slide this up. Oh, sorry. I'm actually not using the... where is it? Where's the screencast keys add-on? Do I really need to look it up? It's not even enabled. Oh no. Well, I should have configured this ahead of time. It's because I was syncing my settings, of course. So, show last operator, only the label, please. Yes. Perfect. Okay. What I did right now here is I wanted to have these poles over here aligned. So they just all kind of form this singular patch. I can like select these loops and mark them as a seam. So this is just one patch over here, this circular patch that's surrounding the mouth. And then I can just like add another one over here. And I can like slide these ones a bit further down. And that should all still be fine. And this one can very easily like slide further upwards. I could also go into sculpt mode. And I would like to turn off the subdivision surface modifier. So with the slide relax brush, I can then go in here and like slide some of this topology a little bit so that it aligns a bit more. So this brush specifically is the main reason why I'm usually switching to sculpt mode sometimes during retopology. There we go. Of course, you can also slide geometry in edit mode, but the slide relax brush is giving you a bit more flexibility. I really like it. Okay, so now I already got to eliminate a couple more loops, which is kind of making this area a bit more manageable. We can also smooth over this a bit. We can smooth over this, and it's just kind of realigning these loops a bit more, which is amazing. Now, with a tweak tool, I can like, or just by click and dragging, I can do a bit of this. And I think I can just rip this with the shortcut V and fill this in, which is not that bad. Then at least the loop kind of continues all the way. I can like, wait. I can enable wireframes on this object specifically. You can find it over here in the... I'm actually going to flip this to the other side. Aha! I think I actually like this more. So the object tab in viewport display, wireframe, and then we see wireframes always on this object on top of everything else. So I can smooth this a bit over. Bam! Perfect. So this is already way more clean. I actually wish right now I would have duplicated it just to be able to go back and forth with it, just to show the comparison. But I guess you just have to trust me a bit that it is way more clean. There we go. I'm way more happy with this. And this is like one more continuous patch. If we look at this, like this is just the kind of neutral cheek area. And then we got this this patch over here, which is like framing the face, which continues all the way down here into the cheek. And then we got also the nasolabial fold over here. But I also wanted to change this little pole over here. So this one would be way better suited to actually be connected to this entire area. So we got like these poles at least kind of aligned. It's not a huge thing. To be honest, this is really insignificant. Like, it's just my own personal little OCD calling. So what I could do is I could like slide this one up. Slide this one in. And now I got this one connected. Of course, we lost a loop right here. And there's still the issue of this area right here. Like, I need both of these loops, ideally. So how do I solve this? This is what I need to figure out right now. Okay. First of all, I want to redistribute some of these a little bit more. I can also go into sculpt mode and just smooth over this a bit. There we go. I just want to actually delete these faces over here. Just so this is kind of open. I actually don't need to delete it. Like another thing I could just do is fill it with F. Okay, this is just now one face. Everything kind of stops there. If I would like try to cut in loops, they would just immediately stop. First of all, I mean, these are a given, these two. Like, they need to connect. I need to do this. This is the area where it's kind of getting difficult. And I don't necessarily want to add like another loop into the nose, but maybe I can do something else. Like, what if I add a loop here and I want to add that loop back over here? Like, could I do this? Like now I have all the building blocks over here, so I can like kind of cut it up into the right way, like this. Now this is just getting back to the original way it was. Still want that pole over here. That's the main thing I want. Maybe I'm just making things a bit difficult for myself, but I still like the challenge. I wanted to improve the topology on this. So I'm gonna do my best to actually do this. So let's just try to subdivide this, even though it's a bad idea. This is not great. I need to resolve this. Why are you streaming weekly? You can stream daily, right? Well, the thing is, I mean, I would love to stream daily if this would be like a main project for me right now, but this is kind of a thing I'm doing on the side. The main project I'm working right now at the studio is Sprite Fright, the latest film production. So I need to actually put my time there, and I can't just stream every day. That's not something I can do. So sadly, yeah. If this would be a like that, basically what I did originally, if you go a few streams back, I streamed work on Sprite Fright. So how did I do this? Gonna try something a bit different. So I just want to simplify this a bit, so I can like maybe like merge these two. And merge these two. Now this is something interesting. So if I like kind of remove this, remove these guys, I might have something here that I can work with. So if I also delete these and add another edge loop over here, I could start to bridge these gaps. So now I at least have the kind of topology that I want. This was a bit fast, I'm sorry for that, but I eliminated enough loops in the bridge of the nose to allow this circular structure here to exist seamlessly as it does right now. I even have the two nasolabial folds still, nasolabial loops go all the way around over here, but I might need to just move them around a bit more. Okay. I still want these 3 loops over here. These 3 edge loops. And I can just kind of smooth this out. There we go. Sorry, I'm gonna look at the questions in a moment. There we go. Okay, I'm already way more happy with this, though the difference might be really marginal. But I just like now I can look at this. Like this is super clear and defined. This one is clear and defined with just a little bit of like this is just kind of breaking a little bit out of the structure. Like this kind of like almost like a raccoon mask that's going into the nose, but it's still kind of fitting into the general topology I want to do. Question: I own the copyright to what I may make with Blender. Right, of course. Yes, anything you make with Blender is yours. The only exception is if you would make software that is built on top of the Blender code. That is actually, then it would inherit the same license. So the same GPL license, which just basically makes the code open source. There's more information on this on the blender.org homepage if you're interested in looking it up. Okay, so. Nice. Okay. Okay, I'm really happy with this. So I kind of fixed the main things I annotated that I wanted to do. And now it would be about... First of all, I want to expand the whole retopology to the rest of the head. So I'm going to ignore the eyebrows for a bit. Just gonna go into edit mode here. I already have this patch over here that is perfectly aligning with the eyebrows, which I call like a landmark, just so they can like exactly move in the same way on the same spot once I retopologize the eyebrows later on. But this is going to be a bit tricky, like this area where things are fanning out so much that they become really stretched. Question: if we animate anything in Blender, are there any watermarks? No. Like if whatever you want to do art related in Blender, it's yours. You don't need to add any watermark on top. I mean, you could if you want to share to the world that this was made in Blender, but you can do with it whatever you want. It's completely yours. Okay, I want to continue a bit with the head. So what I'm gonna do is I want to mark this as a scene, and the rest over here is I want to make it a bit different. So first of all, I mean, I could just extrude this up and have this part over here, and then add like more resolution over here with like a little like a change in direction. So this patch up here is becoming more of a straight thing. So I can like just extrude this in, split it, and fill it. Bam. I actually want to bring back the modifier, maybe? Nah, I could just keep it disabled for now. It's gonna make it a bit clearer. And now, like, you can model this in the like really in the most rough way as you want, as long as the topology itself is kind of what you want, the direction of the loops, and then you can just go into sculpt mode with a slight relax brush, just smooth over it, and there we go. Like, that's just basically what I'm doing most of the time. Like, I can just like add some more loops in here, and then just smooth over it, and it's just going to redistribute it in a way that is actually, that looks nice and that actually works. At some point I need to bring that fold back in there. I think I might have. Oh wait, no, it's still there. I need to like in overlays. I can like. Oh, what happened to the music? Oh, okay. It's actually not looping. Okay, so if I go over here in like remove seems to be visible, yes, this is the loop that I needed. Oh, shortcuts. I want to slide this one a bit more down. I want to like move this further up, and then in sculpt mode I can like relax this a bit more. Of course, I would like to like move this a bit further in for the specific reason that I would like this forehead to be capped off a bit more with a sharp edge. And for that, I just need to have these loops a bit closer together. This can be more fanned out. On the top of the head, I don't care that much anymore. This can be a bit more simple. So I can like just in sculpt mode, just use the brushes to move this around in a big and rough way. I usually switch between to slide and relax and then the grab brush. And just because grab brush gives me a bit more freedom on how to move things around freely outside of the bounds of what is currently there, and slide and relax is really just moving it around in a way that it tries to keep the current shape of the object intact. Where is this model going? Will it be animated or is it optimized for game engines? This is specifically targeted towards film productions, and this will be a full character that will be rigged, shaded, like just completely available for everyone in Creative Commons. How did you get that rounded panels buttons in the UI? In the descriptions you can find my theme, my Blender theme that you can install, but it is a setting in the theme preferences where you can define any slider or button to be more round. Another question, what's a feature you would want for 3.0? Well, I mean, since we're at Retopology, there are some Retopology features I would like to have. Like, I mean, if like we need to figure out exactly how the slide relax brush could be integrated in edit mode, or alternatively how edit mode could be split off or reworked in a way that it is way better and easier to get into for Retopology. But there's plenty of like suggestions I have for features and designs. Like I don't quite want to get into that right now, to be honest. So what I'm wondering right now is if I could does it make sense to have the topology over here kind of loop around a bit? I'm making this like really rough right now. I don't care too much about like, is this right poly count? Is this the only thing for the back of the head that I'm worrying about right now is the general topology. So I could just like kind of move this in. At least add a couple more loops right here. And then I could like do something like this. Move this around. So we have like kind of this patch over here. I could like extrude this down a couple times like this and fill this in with F, and then I have something like this. So this is pretty low though in terms of poly count, which is the reason why I might want to restructure this this entire part up here again in order to match the loops that are going in over here. Also, I might want to, like, just for safety, add a couple loops over here, add a couple loops over here. Just because I know there's more loops coming in from this side, which are probably are supposed to come out on this side eventually. So the other thing is I would like to move some of this stuff around a bit more. Like this. Okay, and now it really, like, I'm just gonna add way more loops than I need over here, just for right now, because I want to fill this in and see what I'm left with. So I might actually be able to just cap it off over here. Let's remove this loop over here. And then I'm going to add more to match the other side. And then I can just merge these. This is just with M, and I just made a pie menu out of this. But you could also just use, I mean, I could just fill this in and then you could just slide it with G, pressing G twice into the other side. Like this, essentially. I'm using the tools also. Yeah. I mean, I have my own key map. That's what I'm saying. Sorry. Got distracted for a bit. Okay, and now that I have this structure, I can just go over it with the slide relax brush and smooth, like this. And it's going to redistribute this topology in a way that is way more suitable for retopology. And typically, there's like one issue that I'm running into when I'm doing this, and that you can see it over here. It's smoothing all the way up to this edge, and then it has like this sharp break. It's not really smoothing it over to the other side. And this is because that other side doesn't actually exist. It gets generated from the modifier. So this sculpting code is actually using only this side, really. What I could do to get around this is, it's a bit of a trick, but I like it. It's like I can duplicate and apply the mirror modifier. Come on. Oh, I can't apply it in edit mode. I can apply the mirror modifier, and then I can enable mirror to the other side of the x-axis, and then bisect it as well, which means it's going to delete the other side and replace it with a mirrored version. The thing is, sculpt mode is still using the original mesh, which has another side, but then the mirror modifier is just making sure this will definitely stay symmetrical. I can enable X mirror over here, which is carried across through all the different modes, and now I can smooth over this, and it's going to make it nice and smooth. See in the comments, Blender 3.0? What? Yes, we are in 3.0 alpha territory now. If you've seen Pablo Vasquez's live streams, then you know. Blender 2.93 is going into beta right now. It's being tested for bugs and like the final version that's going to be released. And meanwhile, new features are going to trickle into 3.0. So, exciting stuff. Okay, so I can disable X-ray, and now I have the retopology for the back of the head. I can still like move some of this up because I want to keep this edge over here. Like I can see like it's going like along here. Wait. Yeah, like these hard edges basically, like harder edges. And I want to keep these. I want to have these captured in the retopology ideally. So I can like kind of move this up, smooth it a bit, smooth this as well. I wish in front would work in Eevee, like shading, showing another object always in front of another. Like if I go into solid mode over here, it is working like this. Like you can see the green object in front of the red one, and in material preview mode or like Eevee, it doesn't work, sadly. Okay, I'm going to delete this face because I want to do something else here. I'm going to slide this in, like here, and I want to have this loop over here frame the ear completely. Like this. Basically. And actually I'm also going to hide the other side of the face for now. Okay. There we go. And then I can fill this area in, cut a loop in and now I have this loop that's just going all around the ear. I can mark this as a seam, just as a reminder for myself. And the same thing pretty much over here. I can like get rid of these annotation layers. I'm also noticing that this doesn't really match up. There we go. Does this actually make sense? I'm like fact-checking my own topology right now. No. Still doesn't make sense. I want this to be here, so I'm going to make another edge. No. It doesn't matter. This is the back of the head. If I make this really precise, I'm making it out of my own satisfaction. This is, I can just undo it, to be honest. I see some more questions. How do you create points? Are you just tapping F? Yes. Essentially, I'm using an add-on that is officially in Blender. It's called F2. You can look it up over here. It's called F2 right here. And what this does is it gives you some more functionality of just immediately creating more topology by just using the F short key. Like, just look it up on YouTube or Google. There's plenty of tutorials and documentations that are explaining what the F2 add-on does. Okay, so I'm just adding another loop here just to have a bit more topology. I'm smoothing it out like this. Okay, perfect. And really, I can recommend to like not focus too much on like tweaking all the different points. Just create the general topology you want out of the character, the edge flow and the amount of loops. And then or not even the amount of loops sometimes, you can then just like cut in more loops depending on how many you need. And then you just go into sculpt mode and you just smooth over it with the slide relax brush. Generally, that's the way I found that is really the most efficient way of retopologizing something manually. Now, I can just continue with the jaw. And this I can do also just by extruding more geometry. Oh, I'm being careful not to go too close to the point over here. So I'm gonna clear these seams. There we go. Now, of course, there is like one thing that is like really nice to have. With this sort of topology. I have it very subtle in my sculpts, but maybe I can like still add it, and that is this loop that is like following I forgot the name of it right now, the muscle that is like going down the neck like this and framing the Adam's apple essentially in the throat. Okay, so kind of like this, just doing like really rough parts over here. And this is going to be an interesting challenge. I'm going to get to this once I get to the head, the body, I mean, I'm sorry. So I can just add more loops in here. Like I'm just worried, I'm just paying attention to like how many cuts I need. Like this. And this is looking really ugly, but I can just go into sculpt mode. Oh, I actually forgot one, which I can just, hold on, I can just slide this one over. I can select this one over here, and with V I can just cut it and slide it over by pressing G, and I can fill this in. Now, this is a bit ugly, but I can just go into sculpt mode and slide relax this a lot. Let's actually add a couple more loops in here. Okay, same issue as before. I'm going to bring the mirror modifier back, and I'm just going to duplicate and apply it. And now I actually have this geometry on both sides. It does actually exist, even if I have the mirror modifier disabled. And then I can just smooth over this a bit more reliably. I'm actually also going to duplicate and apply the shrink wrap modifier. This is going to make this a bit more precise, I think. Oh yeah, I see the name of the... People are commenting the name. Sternocleidomastoid. The it has like an abbreviation, I think. It's just SCM. I think it's just SCM. But yes, you get what I mean. So you can see these are a lot of loops, which is not great, but this is a typical issue. One thing I could, for example, do is just like how I have like these loops going around the chin, I could actually make a break in here and lead them back around so that they are actually completely framing the chin. This would go with the shape of the head, like it wouldn't cause like any real issues. And the great thing is, it does actually, it does get rid of 2 loops going into the neck, so we can clean this up a bit more. I keep saying we as if this is like a straight up tutorial. But yes, I can just merge these 2. And now I already got rid of 1 edge loop going down, like this. I can smooth this over. And there we have it. I can move this up and do this maybe one more time. And then again, do a little bit more cleanup. Interesting. Yes. Okay. And now again, I can just smooth over this. Oh, wait. Why doesn't it work? Oh, I'm using another brush. I can just smooth over this like this. Again, I want to duplicate and apply the mirror modifier just so the smoothing behavior is a bit nicer. Like this. Maybe I want to add another loop over here. Okay, nice. Actually, it would be nice to have to just do it one more time. There we go. Oh, right. Oh, damn it. Undo, 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 undo. It's more like this. What am I doing here? Kind of freestyling this, which wasn't the intention. Well, I mean, now it's at least a more clean setup, but I do have the issue that I made this so thin that like, I mean, I only really need one more loop here. I can just smooth this out. I actually don't mind having more loops on the chin. That way I can keep the form alive even more easily. You can smooth over, smooth it all out. And now I already have way less loops going in, like, not way less, but some less loops going into the neck, which is going to be helpful for later solutions down in the on the chest of trying to lead these into themselves. To be honest, I think I can actually do it right now. Screw it. So the idea of how to get rid of these loops ideally is to have them loop into themselves. So kind of like this. So you're just like creating more of these faces. Like I can just push them up to save a bit of space. And you're starting to get rid of all of these loops. I can like go into sculpt mode and smooth this out, and this is what we're seeing. I can like push this up with the grab brush, maybe? Yes. Oof. Yeah, I don't want to smooth it entirely. And now I'm just gonna complete this down here. Maybe add another loop on the side, and then, oh, with the slide relax brush, just smooth over it. And this is already looking way more clean. And you can see that the amount of loops going into the body has reduced significantly. So also I see like people asking if about a tutorial series. Basically a lot of this is based on a tutorial course on the Blender Cloud, which is the Stylized character workflow, and there is actually a Retopology chapter in this. But I think this live stream is also a nice little tutorial and companion piece. So I'm gonna apply and duplicate. Oh, I'm gonna undo. Duplicate and apply the mirror modifier again. So I have the geometry actually existing on the other side, which then lets me in sculpt mode smooth this out a bit more easily. Like this. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna save. Another question. Should big muscles like biceps and pecs be defined in the topology, or should it be straight grid for best deformation? Well, it kind of depends. It depends on how much these forms should be actually visible in through the topology. Like, for example, if I just look at the sculpt of Snow, like he does have like quite a bit of like definition for his body sculpt, but most of these forms, like sharp edges and so on and so forth, they are not actually going to be visible later through the clothing. So the retopology can be as simple as possible. If I bring back the clothing, some of this, like this, kind of just inspired how much of the muscle structure I wanted to see through the clothing. So it was still helpful, but unless I'm ever going to give him an outfit that's shirtless, I would actually just retopologize the body in the simplest way possible. So just a tube, or like a tube with a bit more definition, but mostly just a tube. What will be the biggest development in 3.0? I see being asked. You can actually look up in the Blender development blog. There's, I think, a new post on what are the big projects for 3.0 and maybe even going further. So check that out if you're interested. So I'm really happy already with like how this is looking. I think actually one thing I would like to do is at least have again the patches aligned. It just makes me a bit happier, even though it is not really necessary. Okay. Awesome. This is looking great. So I can also mark this as seams, so this can be visible as a patch. And as patches, I really mean like a circular or a grid structure in the topology. Something that is usually framed by these poles that mark a directional shift. So I have like more detail on this in a tutorial on the Blender Cloud. You can check that out, but I'm gonna keep it a bit light over here. Now the neck. So I might actually just completely hide the face for now, so I can focus. Actually, I should just hide one side of the entire retopology. Like this. Okay, and then I can focus a bit more on the neck. So let's delete this. I actually want to extrude this downwards more simply, like this. And then I can add some more loops over here to do something like this. I think that's fine. Actually, let's leave this open for now. There we go. I don't need these loops right now. At least this one, maybe. Yeah, damn it. If I would ever add any more loops over here, they would directly go into the eyes. And I don't want that. I want the eyes to be basically finished. I don't want to make any topology changes to that. So just add some more loops over here. Screw it. So how do I resolve this? There's already 5 connected edges over here, which is great. I want to keep that. And then we have this area right here. Could do it like this and then smooth it out. Kind of like this. It could work. It's not ideal, but it's working. No, I think this should be fine. It's causing... No, this is not fine. It's there's like 2 5 poles over here, 2 E poles over here. So vertices with 5 connected edges right next to each other, and that will... I don't like it. It's causing like quite a bit of stretching. So... do I even need these loops, to be honest? Like, looking at this, I can at least add a bit of distance. Oh boy. Let's actually bring this back. Oh, I forgot. There's like questions. Do always use a tablet when doing retopology, or do you switch to a mouse every now and then? I'm mostly using the pen, to be honest. A tablet. There's nothing speaking against using a mouse. I'm just always using a pen. I'm so used to it. Why you just make the models and not animating and making a movie from it? Well, don't speak too soon. I mean, when I made Rain, the other character tied to this one, tied to Snow, it was originally just meant as a way of making a tutorial course, and another character for the cloud, but then we actually made an open movie out of it. So I would say there's always the possibility. There we go. Now this is what I wanted. Can I at least slide this over here and add like another loop over here, just so I have enough loops going into the rest of the body? That would be good. Okay, I'm going to again apply and Shift D, apply the shrink wrap modifier, and do the same thing for the mirror modifier. And I can see, I think with the topology I'm quite happy. It's really supporting the general design of the character, and the flow of the loops is clean enough. Yeah. I think this is like really solid. Maybe there's like something I'm gonna notice about it that I can maybe tweak later, but also smoothing over it a bit. And no. This is not supposed to happen. So maybe I should just delete this part over here. There we go. This is how it's supposed to look like. Something more like this. Minute details, but it is also about keeping the topology actually intact. Okay. So, how much time did I actually stream already? How long? Yeah. Okay, it's 5. So, still have plenty of time to go. Hey, Julien, how I know you're a sculptor, but I know you're a sculptor, but I'm amazed that you're polymodeling. What's your opinion on starting a character from scratch while trying to keep a clean topology along the way? I think that's really challenging. I mean, you can watch the previous live streams I did on the Blender Studio channel about sculpting Michelle. And there I actually did exactly that. I tried to keep the topology intact from even a completely different character and only really use that while only doing like small modifications. And it does have its advantages. A lot of the sculpting tools work really well when you have a clean topology, but it does prevent you from doing a lot of freeform exploration. And I think that's really important for sculpt mode, that you actually get to not worry about the topology. You can just do whatever you want. So I think if you're trying to design a character, just focus on using dynamic topology and the voxel remesher mostly. You can always roughly retopologize or remesh everything with a more clean topology afterwards. Okay, so I want to get into the ears now, because everything else on the head is kind of done. So if I go in here, one of the main things I usually start with, I would like grab two of the face loops over here that are mostly matching up with the outer helix, and I would just move this along that part of the ear. I think this actually needs to be over here. Like 2 loops should be good right here. Like this. And then I need to get it back into the head. And that's usually a bit of a tricky part, but I think in this case I can just join it back over here. Like this. Okay, this is already like some the most basic part. The back of the ear is pretty easy. That's why I'm gonna leave it for now. This is where I can make the more ugly choices, but the inner part of the ear over here, this is going to be important. So what I actually want to do is I want to like select these loops over here and hide the geometry on the back of the ear. So I can focus a bit more on this. Okay. So what do I do now? So I can start by just kind of blocking out this part a bit more. I want to add another loop right here. Like there's a sharp edge going along right here. I'm going to mark this as a sharp. And I want this sharp edge to continue. I want it to lead down here. Luckily, this is a stylized character, so I can afford this being a bit more simple. Okay, I moved some stuff around a bit over here. And I'm going to actually do this, because this is going to be the sharp, not this one. Because this one has a pole right here. And I typically never have a sharp edge that has a pole in the center. It just makes it a bit cleaner. There we go. So this is going to be the sharp line once subdivided, and then these two loops are meant to keep this edge sharp. These proximity loops are making sure that it doesn't smooth out that much. I can just continue with this. Huh. For now, I could like at least fill this in. It's fine if I keep it like a bit simple for now, like in terms of like how much topology is there. I can bevel and add more edge loops over time. Okay. Okay. So okay. Like, sorry. Shortcuts are getting messed up a bit. Okay, so I'm essentially, I think I'm just gonna fill in the rest of the outer helix over here. So I'm just gonna extrude this and scale it in and fill it in like this. It's pretty important to have this in place. This loop can match up right here. I think this is looking great. And then this one can meet this one right there. Now, wait, I'm gonna delete this one because I'm actually thinking, what if I do this? No. Wait. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna continue like, I'm gonna add like another edge loop over here. And this is going to be the start of another sharp edge. Like this. And I can add another one over here. Can also go into sculpt mode and just like smooth this out a bit, but I'm not too worried right now. This is getting too much out of hand. Again, if you have any questions, you can just tag me in the comments, as in Blender Studio. Okay, so I'm going to continue to just extrude and scale this in. This doesn't need to be like the exact amount of loops. It can be like pretty rough. Now this is interesting. Yes, this is super interesting. So I also need to be aware of where my loops are actually leading right now. So this is going all the way around and it's kind of completing the outer helix. And this one is going in and is supposed to be the inner side. The first loop of the inner side. So I need to keep that in mind as I'm like extruding these faces. Where do they lead? Where do they end up? Just so they don't spiral out of control. I see a question. Do you have a date for the release of this rig? No. I can see this becoming a bit of a long-term project because right now I'm only spending 2 hours every week on it. But at least the project in terms of like the scale right now is just, I'm gonna show you exactly how this is made, step by step. And then this is gonna also continue into UV mapping and shading, and then hopefully also eventually being rigged and released. What would you say was your most ambitious project? I mean, so far, in terms of completed projects, it was definitely Spring, the first Blender Open movie that I worked on, because it was like such a big undertaking in general, but also just for me. It was to test the in-development version of Blender 2.8 while it was still all heavily in development and barely usable sometimes. But also I was just involved in basically everything in the creation process of the movie, which was just a great experience. Do you have any experience on other 3D software except Blender? Yes, I also did a lot of sculpting, like a lot, no. It's like I also did sculpting in ZBrush. That was actually where I started sculpting originally. And other experience in mostly Softimage and in terms of modeling and using that as actually as a main production tool. And then also a little bit getting into Maya, but that was like in the last year that I was working in commercials. And then I was just dabbling with a lot of other software like Substance Painter and Mudbox and a little tiny bit of 3D code. I was just like hopping from software to see what actually works kind of well. Why and how is the unretopologized version unsuitable for animation? Well, if I enable wireframes, this has like a lot of loops just going anywhere, and I want to make the cleanest possible result. If you like, I'm not going to go much into detail why this is unsuitable for animation, but it's just a more clean topology can really help to make the rigging and animation process easier. There we go. Now, how do I get rid of these loops right here? When will the model be available for download? Wait, what will be the last thing you do on the character before you hand it over to someone else? I will see. I'm probably planning to like finish the retopology. Definitely retopology, then UV unwrapping, and ideally also texturing and shading. And then doing like a final render for this, just for presenting it. But after that, it will probably be handed over to rigging. So once it goes into rigging, I will have very little control over this anymore, which is fine. Okay, I'm gonna add more loops now. More loops for the ear. which is now also going to help a lot for... Let's see. I'm kind of winging the topology over here a bit, but might actually work. Okay, I'm gonna delete these loops for now. Oh, wait. Actually, I'm gonna delete this one and slide this one in. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna smooth over this a bit, just to check, okay, how does this topology actually look? Can I work with this? This was made in a bit of a rough way, but I think I can actually use this. So I did already mark this as a sharp, as a reminder, not that this actually does anything, it's just a reminder for myself, okay, I want this edge to be sharp. Now what I can do is I can like slide these edges in. I can actually add another loop over here and move this one in as well. I'm gonna disable snapping for a moment. Okay. Now, this is already looking kinda good. But I would like to also maybe add like, yeah, add another loop over here. Then I can slide this one over, and now I have a bit more definition to like capture this shape overall. Now, adding another one over here is also a good idea. I would even add another, just so I have just one more loop to actually capture this crease, which can then kind of fan out over here. I don't worry about this too much, I can smooth this out. Okay, more questions. Does the studio tend to only use blending, or do they use Rigify, or do they manually rig? Well, when we're using like a custom version of, wait, it's Rigify, which is called Cloud Rig. It's being developed and managed by Demeter Tzadik, our rigger. And you can find more about that on the Blender Cloud, or like, yeah, I think the main resource for that is on the Blender Cloud. It is freely available. He probably also has it like all on his GitHub and everything. Shouldn't it be mark crease instead of mark sharp? I don't want to mark it as a crease, because that will actually affect how it's being subdivided by the modifiers. Seams and sharps, I'm using those because they are visual aid. They don't actually do anything for the retopology. It's just a reminder for myself what this edge's purpose is. But what it actually does, that's what I'm defining myself. Okay, so what else? I'm gonna smooth this over again a little bit. Also smoothing over here. I don't like what's happening with the earlobe, with the tragus, not the earlobe, the tragus over here. Doesn't really look that good. So I might need to figure something out for that. Okay. Now, this is something I don't really like over here. Like there's like a pole right here to redirect like these two poles. But there's nothing on the other side to catch them. I'm gonna unhide this real quick. Where do these loops actually lead? Well, there's one going into the nose. I think I'm gonna actually... Let's undo that. But I am going to add another loop over here. I want that extra bit of resolution. And if that one will lead into the nose hole, that's perfect. That is ideal, because then it's a loop that is just going to disappear. A loop that I don't need for anything else, and it's just going to go through the cheek, where I don't really mind it, and then disappear into the nose, and I don't have to worry about it. Okay, but it's not great how dense this all is in the center. So what I think I'm actually going to do is I will delete these faces. And same thing over here. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna do it again. But this also means I can start to get rid of some of these edge loops. Or at least, I mean, I can still fan them out a bit. This is not too bad. I can go into sculpt mode, smooth it out. Kinda like this. I see another question. Can you please make a video and upload on Blender Cloud on UV, texture, and rig? Sorry for my bad English. Don't worry. I'm uploading all of this to the Blender Cloud as well, but I will get more into UV unwrapping and texture painting and that sort of stuff. It's like one of the goals why I'm actually doing these live streams. If I don't have enough time to make like really focused tutorials on this, then at least I can demonstrate it. That would be ideal, or like that's at least better than nothing. Like, I think this is still really valuable as educational material, but maybe a bit harder to follow. So if you have any questions, you can ask anytime. How often do you find yourself deleting and redoing portions of your work? Often. I mean, I'm trying to work as loose as possible, so it's not really painful, but especially during production, it happens a lot that work is being scrapped. So it's just, I mean, really good planning and foresight can prevent this, but it's also just in the nature of finding a design that you will also throw away some stuff. So it's just something that you need to get comfortable with, a thought. So I'm gonna duplicate and apply the shrink wrap, and now it's time to figure this out again. So let's do it in a different way. I want to take these edges over here, and I'm gonna make these my crease. They're actually not leading anywhere else right now, but yes, I would like to extrude these and make these my crease for the inner side. So I can mark these as a sharp. Like this. And I'm going to build the rest around it. So I can just fill this in. This I can also mark as a, not as a seam, as a sharp. Same as here. Like this. Okay, and then I can just fill in the rest. So let's see how well that works. Like this. No, that doesn't quite work. Kinda, a little bit. Well, I mean, I don't have to completely abide to these loops right here. I can also just add more loops as I need them, like this. Perfect. Okay, so now let's see. It's also about filling the rest in over here, which is, as always, still a bit challenging. Can do it kind of like this. So far it's going good. Yep. So I can just fill this in basically like this. But then I'm getting to this part here. And there's just not enough loops to support this. So what do I do? Well, first let's just actually smooth over this a bit. Just getting a better picture of what I have. Like this. Okay, first of all, I also already don't like how there's no additional loop over here. Which is actually kind of useful. Can I get assets of snow? I see being asked. Yes, the files of this will be, and most of them are available on the Blender Cloud. But yes, some of them are not available for free. That's at least something to add. I want to figure out, maybe I can like do this. This is right now just a little bit of me playing around. Sorry about that. Maybe I can... First of all, wait, oh, more questions. How do you come to know what the right flow of the face would be? Well, it's kind of like... well, I mean, you can also just select things to kind of check, but the main things I'm looking at is like basically what I marked over here. Like this is like a sharp, or like a part of the mesh of the surface that I want to have sharp. So I marked it as a sharp, just as a reminder. And then I would need two loops, two face loops right next to it to kind of make sure that happens. If these loops are hugging that edge, they will sharpen it. And the other thing is that the rest is just kind of like going in the, just kind of leading back into themselves. So there's probably already some issues over here with this sort of thing, but yeah. Wait, I can mark some more of these as, no, not yet. Not all of them. I want to mark some of these more, some more of these as seams, just to remind myself where the important patches of them are, like how I structured this, of like these two loops going around the ear, framing it, and then the helix over here, the outer helix, going, of course, a bit out of bounds and like in weird directions, but still fine. It's a bit of like being able to see the puzzle after having done it so many times. I'm not really happy with what's going on over here. It's falling apart a little bit. I turned down the music a little bit. I saw some comments just mentioning that it's maybe a bit too loud. So I hope this is better. The ear is always a place that you can like easily get stuck on for a short while. So this is not surprising that I'm just suddenly doing a bit of maintenance, essentially, like just trying to fix some of the decisions that I've made. Okay. Okay. I'm always moving the 3D cursor accidentally. Okay. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Is this actually now enough to just close this? No. Didn't really fix the problem. Again, if you have questions, you can just mark, you can just tag Blender Studio in the comments. Okay, this is getting already closer to what I want. How did you get the side panel of the properties window to be the right side? Oh, this. You can just right click it and say navigation bar and then flip to left or flip to right. Could I actually just pinch this? Really ugly. It's like solving it in a really dirty way. To be honest, I think I could just completely get rid of this one. Why did I make this? This is making it a bit simpler. Oh! Oops. There we go. Moving this around a little bit. And then I just need to solve the age-old question over here. Maybe I can just like solve it by adding another one over here. Oh, no. No. Yeah, I think this could be fine. Like the inner side of the ear, I don't mind if it's a bit more messy. As long as loops are not like being spiraled completely out of control. I think it's fine. So I could like at least go in here and select some of these face loops or like edge loops and see where they're actually going. And if they have like at least a nice flow to them. Like a lot of these are actually being stopped, which I don't mind. It's actually a good thing. Okay. Oh. Oh boy. Okay, but there's still the back of the ear, which I need to do. Oh, and then I want to make sure that some of these shapes are actually truly kept intact, which is sometimes a bit difficult. It's really just kind of sliding this stuff around to keep the roundedness. I also see some questions. Are you using any add-ons? If so, which ones? Well, I'm using a couple of unrelated add-ons really, like the screencast keys add-on to show my key, what I'm actually pressing. But for the retopology related to that, nothing really of importance except for F2, which is implemented by default in Blender. You just need to enable it. Why do I need fancy topology for my ear when the ear will not be affected by animation as much as the eye or a mouth? That is a good question. In this case, I just want it to be, well, it's a bit high res to be honest, but the main thing is I don't want loops to go like into the eyes, then loop around in the ear like 3 times and then go somewhere completely else, because that can just cause a lot of unnecessary loops going all over the place. So if you want to add some more, they could cross themselves, loop back into themselves, loop somewhere else. It becomes really hard to actually add a bit of topology and edit the mesh. But the edge flow itself is actually not that important. Like, it's not as important as with the mouth and the eyes, where you need to have a particular amount of edges to animate it really well, or rig it really well. But over here, I'm not really worried if if the topology isn't that super clean. I'm still trying to make it clean, but that's just my kind of a bit of my own expectations in the end result. Oh, the ear is gonna move a whole lot anyways, is it? It is, but only really as a solid piece. So, do you know if there's going to be a Cosmos Laundromat 2? And if not, why? There's actually a blog post on this for the production. You could check it out on the, I think it's on the Cosmos Laundromat website. So you can just look for that. There we go. The only little adjustment I needed to do to the nose. Just a little tweak. I needed that extra loop. And now I can smooth this out and slide some things around a bit. Like this. Smoothing it out. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, except for this point over here. This was actually supposed to be the sharp edge. Yes, so... yeah. This is the sort of thing I mentioned. I wanted another loop right here, and now it's just going into itself, and then into the mouth, and just going all over the place. Can I add it somewhere where it won't disrupt any other area of the face, like here? Could, yeah. I could add, like, at least... I could add it over here. And get rid of the loop over there. Because I want to actually... Let's see. Yes. Just a little directional shift in here. Wait. I'm actually going to make this sharp now. Passing around that right constantly, which is fine. It's just the ear. I'm almost done. Of course, I'm not really happy with what's going on over here. With like, this is a pole, this is a pole, this is a pole. This is all pretty messy. But I wanted this extra edge loop in here. Oh, there we go. I can like slide this outwards a bit more. Because I wanted that extra loop to give a bit more, like, keep this curvature of the ear a bit more intact once it gets subdivided. But also to make sure that I still have enough loops over here to make sure these are shown as sharp. These here. Slide these a bit more in. There we go. Smoothing it out in sculpt mode. There we go. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Unless I forgot anything. I mean, this is not, it's not good. it's the only area where I would say like this is, I would love to fix this, but it's also like tucked in here in this part of the ear of the ear that I don't really care about, to be honest. Fairly okay. So, but maybe I can improve it. Should I try? I think this is okay. Okay, smoothing this out a bit more. I have something in my eye. Damn it. Okay. Okay, getting into the back of the eye, the ear. Okay, I'm actually going to check. Like I just checked off the toggle in front over here. I'm actually thinking if I should like, yeah, I think I should move these loops a bit closer together over here, just because I want to have this sharp, like it's not really a sharp edge, but I want to keep that form a bit more intact. And the best way I can do that is to keep these two edge loops a bit closer together. Just kind of trying to predict how it will look like once subdivided. I mean, I could also check. I could just go into object mode and enable the subdivision surface modifier, and I can see that like mostly the shapes are pretty much exactly how I wanted them to be. Like this. And yeah, this is not pretty over here. Okay, let's actually try to fix it. Ooh, theoretically these would be connected. So this loop is leading back into itself. That would be the best result. And then I could like, oh! Is it the same that I had before? It's the same that I had before. Ah, damn it. Well, that's fine. Yes, I should hurry up. I don't have that much time left, and I would at least like to finish up the ear. I'd like to like add one more loop over here, just as a way of having like another proximity loop, another loop that like is really framing that ear. And then I can like smooth it out a bit more right here where that line would be less defined, and then it gets more sharp again over here. Again, I would like to, let's see, I'd like to hide everything else. Let's extrude this. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of that loop again, because I marked this one as a sharp. Maybe I can actually do that. So, Just moving this a bit to the outside. There we go. Okay. Same thing over here. And this keeps being the sharp edge, surrounded by two proximity loops, like this. I hope it's relatively easy to see. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna go into Eevee. The backlighting is making it really ugly and green. Okay, now I can fill this in. And let's see. I could like start extruding this. Let's see. Extrude, scale in. This is gonna be the back side of the ear. Add another loop right here and fill this in. This means I need to add another loop right here, which shouldn't be that much of an issue. Like this. And then I can try to fill this. At least like a little bit of a bridge in the middle. And then I can add a couple more loops over here. Let's just try to add one for now. Like this. Like this. Okay, that works. And then can I fill it in on the other side as well? No. No, I can't. Why is that? Because this loop is actually going over here. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this part again, because I want these loops to align. That would be great. Yes. Same. Maybe over here? No. At least I have these already kind of aligned. I can fill this in. How many trials have you left in your retopology career? Like, as in I have left behind, or I still have left to go? I mean, I try to use very little triangles, so it's an interesting question. What's your favorite Blender feature? I would say, like, just in general, the combination of different workflows in the same software. It is not a very specialized software. It can be a bit of everything, and that is actually what is the best feature in my opinion. So it's maybe a bit of a weird answer. Try running the edge loop. Wait, is there Ian Hubert in the chat? Sorry, joined late. Great work. Thank you. Welcome, Ian. Try running the edge loop, running from the corner of the eye to above the ear, rather than running through it if you have the time. Corner of the eye through the... Yeah, wait. Try running the edge loop, running from the corner of the eye. This one. The eye to be above the ear rather than running through it. Well, it is kind of right now being stopped right here, so it is not running through it. Maybe this one, you mean? Well, it's kind of unavoidable that they will run through the ear. Maybe if I do some heavy restructuring it could work, but I don't think I have the time, sorry. Now this is difficult. I think I'm gonna add another loop right here. Now I have the loops. This is a bit dirty. No, oh no. It's not ideal. But it is the ear. Well, wait, I can just merge these two over here. Like if I just merge them, then it's clean. Haha. Perfect. Okay, then I'll just inset this area one more time. Just to be able to have this edge over here. Wait, no, this one. Over here as a sharp as well. Mark sharp. Can smooth a bit over it. Perfect. Okay, it's working better. Well, Lonely Goblin. if you have like if you can share a screenshot or something like that, that would be really interesting. I'm always really interested in like what retopology solutions other people are doing, because there is no strict answer to every retopology issue. There's like plenty of ways to solve this puzzle. So I'm actually really interested. Okay. Smoothing over this a bit more. Okay. This is actually, I think this is pretty good. For the ear, at least. I'm pretty happy with it. There is going to be a bit of loss of volume later on, but that can be avoided. I will try it. I will show a trick for that eventually. Okay, smoothing over it a bit more. I want this to be really nice and clean. But very carefully smoothing over it. I don't want some of the sharp edges to be smoothed out. Okay. This is looking pretty good. Perfect. Can like mark some of these also as seams just to be able to see exactly where the patches are. Nice. Okay, and that's basically the retopology of the head. Well, not quite, because there's also still the inner head. And that's where I will be... I think this is now actually the time to show some of that. So what I'm actually going to do is I will duplicate some of these loops over here. I will split them into their own object. And from there, I will actually continue. So I will apply the shrink wrap modifier, and let's actually go into, no, not wireframe mode. Let's actually use X-ray. So if I decrease, well, I mean, I also have like a custom matte cap to outline some of this a bit more, so it's a bit easier to see. So the inner mouth is not that big, but I'm gonna try to get as close to this as possible. The teeth I can pretty much reuse from the from Rain's model, which I did. So there's not much to be done there. I'll actually isolate these two. And let's switch back to just random, and yeah. Oh, not this. Oh, damn it. Yes. Now. I will hide the retopology, actually. I will move it out of local view. And I will focus exclusively on the inner mouth for now. So one of the things I could do, I placed this 2-pole over here a while ago. And this is the time where I would actually get rid of it. So I'm just going to rip this. And now it's open. I'm going to clear the seam. And now I can actually extrude this inwards. So I'm going to extrude it. I'm going to scale it up. Rotate it a bit, scale it up. Kind of like this. Doesn't need to be super clean, as long as I have like already a start for the inner mouth. I'm going to compare this later a bit to the sculpt, but I don't mind if the inner mouth looks a bit different, as long as it's still matching what I originally made for the expression tests. Do you know any juicy secrets about Cycles stream tomorrow? Ooh, yes, definitely check into the Cycles stream more tomorrow. That's gonna be really interesting. I want to see some reactions. I already know what it is, but all I can do is it's definitely worth checking out. Hint, hint. So, yeah, lots of ways to skin a cat, which is why I like watching your stream. What? It's good. It's good stuff. I'm on my phone, unfortunately, so I don't have anything on hand to show. If you have a place to send an example later, I can try and remember to send it to you. Well, you could also just comment below and send a link if you want. Otherwise, I don't know. Commenting on the Blender Cloud or sending me an email or anything even. That would be awesome. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I can see right now the outline of the original inner mouth that I want to follow. I want to still also give the lips a proper thickness. So that also needs to extend onto the inner side. That's really important. Like this. And then I can continue. I can just scale it this now along the y-axis. And now I can just really just extrude it in. Just scale, extrude, maybe even like to use the extrude to cursor. Bam, 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 done. Okay. Can go into sculpt mode to define this a bit further. I can smooth it. Can grab it around. Can add some more loops to it even, which would be nice. Just so it has enough resolution. Smooth it like this. Basically like this. But yeah, now I would like to also duplicate and apply the mirror modifier again. For smoothing also, I just really like using the sculpting brushes instead. They can be a bit more unpredictable, but just as like for smoothing bigger areas, more free form editing of geometry, it's really great. I like to use it much more than proportional editing in edit mode. Like this. I just need to be careful not to touch the lips, because they should stay pretty much exactly the same. Like this. I can at least make sure that the inner mouth is a bit more high, like, there we go. Kind of like this. And it has a bit more space. There we go. Floating tongue and gums. Yes, I already have them available from... Like, to be honest, I'm just gonna recycle them from the rain model. It's the only part where I really want to just recycle what I already have. But this is already looking good. Yeah, I have an inner mouth. So now I could just merge this back with the other... No. No. I'm going to separate these two. And I'm going to merge these back with the original retopology of the face. Just because... Oh, and I'm just going to bridge these faces. Like this. Let's see. The reason why I don't want to have the inner mouth as part of it right now is because I don't want it to shrink wrap onto the sculpts. Well, but I guess there could be a way around that right now. Okay. I'm actually going to add a vertex group, and this is called shrink wrap. And all of these get assigned to this with a weight of 0. Now, let's see. I want to add the same vertex group over here, and all of this gets the weight of 1. So now, if I merge these back, I could, in the shrink wrap, define only shrink wrap what is part of this vertex group. There we go. And now the inner mouth should be left intact. Like that. Real ears usually have more bends and details. Do you avoid making those details to fit the art style, or because it complicates the topology too much? Well, it is to fit a particular art style. For when I made Rain, I only gave her relatively simplified ears with like a pretty chunky tragus over here, one outer helix and a sharp inner helix, and the rest is just kind of smooth. And I wanted to have Snow fit in the same art style, so I needed to kind of follow that pretty exactly. Okay. I think I need to, yeah, I'm starting to get a bit above my time limit, but essentially I made the inner mouth. The same thing I could still do with the inner eyes, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So I can just, let's see. I can just extrude this in. Oh, wait. Please remove this from the vertex group. Perfect. Okay. Now I can model this freely without it being added to the shrink wrap. Perfect. I hope this is kind of still easy to follow, or like not too hard to follow. So Oh, one thing I love, one little feature is like you can like slide edges by pressing G twice. But if you then press, like there's a bunch of shortcuts below, and if you press C, it actually removes the clamping. So you can actually like just extend it instead. It's a bit busy to look at, but it's a really nice feature. So you're just sliding it inwards, but now you're sliding it outwards. Definitely recommend that one. In general, just read the status bar and what shortcuts you have available for your tools and for your like basically anything you can do in Blender. You would be surprised what you can find. There we go. Okay, I have the oh wow, lots of questions. How old are you? I'm 25. How will you go about making the eyelets? Well, I just did, kinda. So, hi, for the eyeballs, you leave the triangles, or you do everything in quads? I don't quite know. Eyeballs. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just leave the triangles, it's fine. At least for this mesh, but later for the actual eyes that are gonna be rendered, it's gonna be just quads. If the mouth opens, what do you do to ensure that the vertices don't end up touching the other vertices? E.g. on the cheek. On the cheek? I don't exactly know what you mean. With the eyelets, I meant that how would you make them close? Well, it's relatively like it's more achievable to close the eyes if they have like an even amount of edge loops, like as in like for every edge loop that is on the top, you have one on the bottom, so they can meet. But on like how to model them closed, for example, or like how to make a shape key for them having them closed, you can actually check out some of the tutorials and time lapses that I have on the Blender Cloud, where I'm actually doing that. But I don't really want to go over it right now. That's a lot of it's a big topic. But I basically have the entire head retopologized, and this is looking pretty good. Now I can keep it like this for now. I would like basically call it a day for this. I'm already going over the 2-hour mark. I have the inner eyelets, the inner mouth, everything. For the mouth, I'm just gonna reuse the teeth that I already had from Rain. I don't think these are the right ones. I would like to copy over the retopology I did for Rain's teeth and gums and tongue, and then just use that. It's gonna save me a bit of time. And I don't need to show the entire, just retopologizing that, because this is already giving you a lot more information on how what retopology is, and I think the teeth and gums are more just busy work. They're very simple. I think links are blocked on the chat, so I sent the image I found onto email. Oh, thank you very much. Did you go to an academy, or did you learn 3D by yourself? How long have you been doing 3D? Well, I've been doing 3D for, I would say like, it would be 10 years now, pretty much. But I basically went through an apprenticeship. That was where I mainly learned a lot of these things, especially about how to work in production. I didn't really go to an academy or studied. Most of what I've known is from just looking up courses online or actually learning this practically in a studio. Yes. I'm also by the way, just to wrap this up, I'm going to remove the nose hole also from the, let's just assign a weight of 0, just so I can actually extrude these up like this. And now they are not going to get shrink wrapped to anything else, but I need to look up again how the retopology of rain, like how I did it there, because it might actually be different. And I want this to be the same in style, but I can just at least add these nose holes for now, like this. And then just fill it in on the ends like this. Perfect. So now if I just look at the retopology, well, actually, let's hide the... Do I have the lights also somewhere else? I guess not. Okay, so this is the retopology. At least for the head. So, yeah, I'm gonna call it a day for this, and then next time I will very likely go into retopologizing the hair and the eyebrows and the eyes, and then also reusing the teeth. And that's not gonna take too long, and then maybe I can directly go into actually working on the body, which is another really fun area. So yeah, you can look forward to that next week. It's gonna be on Thursday again. E-pole at the corner of the jaw. Well, yes. That's basically it. See you next time. Thanks for watching.